在可以看得出来 ，ONG 虽然打得慢，也是有让司马老贼稳定成长。不过状态来说，可能要被 catch 到一个闪现，直接 catch 这边被盯到之后一枪 ，FoFo 直接秒掉司马老贼。
然后这一波其实就是抓着司马老贼，没想这个时间点闪现硬装，然后再配合上近的一个控制，直接把他给带走。
Takes some balls to make a play like that. If you flash for that hook and you miss.
But he didn't miss. He
miss.
managed to land it. Welcome back, Game 2 of Southeast Asia taking on LMS. Let's see if SwordArt gets his hands on Blitzcrank. It was open in the last game. He didn't want to play it. He didn't want to go that ham, but he's got a game to play with now. It's best of 3, 1-0 up. Maybe this is where SwordArt decides to play that counter pick.
I would like it. You know, I'd love to see the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank, Jana, you know, most people will go with the Blitzcrank.
Everybody would go with the Blitzcrank. There's no doubt to my mind. How do Southeast Asia pivot in picks and bans? They ran that Akali, Kha'Zix, Kassadin. The theory could have been better, but it didn't work out. So do you think they do a drastic change or stick to what they know?
Hey, I mean, I think you have to play comfort. You know, in a tournament like this, it's not like these players have practiced together a lot. You don't have, you know, all your strategies worked out. So you need to be playing comfort picks. If Assassins are the comfort picks, I say go with it. One adjustment I think you could make is really, to me, the game just pivoted based on how the bot lane went. Right? If you can draft a support who has more lane presence, who can help you to wave clear, who can help to hold that bot lane even, then I think the solo lanes have more of a chance to shine.
Especially because Kra has been one of the outspoken players on the team. We've been fortunate enough to, you know, interview and speak to him a lot. He's a huge fan of Reddit and has talked about how he wanted to read all the comments based on their games and qualifying. His performance in the previous game, not helped by the composition. So I'd like to see him do something more. He played the Leona, he played the Shen. Had some more fun with those champions than he did with Alistar in game 1.
Yeah, certainly so. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, the Alistar is fine, but it's so hard to win that lane. And if you don't have wave clear in the other lanes, you can't actually just afford to lose all these lanes across the map. You lose too much control, allows them to get the Baron, allows them to get so much early gold. And if he wants to go Alistar, but you have something like an Orianna mid who can wave clear, or you have something, you know, who's going to be more of a reliable kind of secondary defense, then it can work out a lot better. So it's really just kind of about having the balance in their composition. If you go for something like that, to me, it's a very all-in strategy, because if it works out in the early game, it could look incredible later. But if anything falls apart, it all falls apart.
Yeah, we've seen that time and time again when some of these players have just popped off at various times this tournament. As you can see, the GPL representatives from Southeast Asia are taking to the stage once again. And we'll be jumping into picks and bans shortly. Now they are on blue side. They had side selection for game 2, and they elected blue side. That means the pressure is on LMS to remove the likes of Zoe, the likes of Ornn, potentially Ezreal as well. It went unpicked, unbanned for a few rotations, which was surprising to me, and Bebe got it.
Yeah, definitely some different priorities in this first draft. I mean, Ryze was the first pick, which to me has not been something that really screams first pick worthy. You know, when you look at the champions that have been kind of considered the most dominant in the patch, yes, Ryze can be very effective, but it's been much more, even in the mid lane, about things like the Zoe and the Malzahar and these sorts of picks. And obviously they were drawing bans, but then Ezreal, Xerath, a lot of picks that could have gone in the first round.
Yeah, could have gone. Let's see what they changed to, because now with LMS having 2 first pick champions, first rotation champions rather, it's a little bit more understandable if you pick Ryze as one of those 2. Misfortune was banned away. Misfortune has picked a number of times in that first pick slot just because of the power of Comet and the dual pokes in the bottom lane.
Right? Like, you can go support, or you can have the MF as your AD carry. So it's all... Like, there's always extra power when you have a super strong champion that can go in multiple roles, because you can adjust your picks and bans based on what your opponent is doing. They're never exactly sure how they should react as well. It just kind of gives that extra little lever that you have to work with.
The power of the flex pick. We'll see whether or not it shines through in this draft. This could be the last game for the GPL. They lose here, they are done, and the LMS will advance to the All-Star Finals, where they will do battle with LPL or LCK. Malzahar once again finds himself in the ban pool. Do not want to give that one over to Patrick. Bebe's Jhin has been taken off the table, and Zoe on the blue side.
Yeah, so Zoe's going to be taken off. They're not looking for the first pick, so they don't want to give it over as a first-round selection. And I'm hoping that SCA will be able to bounce back. I want a third game of this one. So many exciting players, and you know, being able to see even a guy like Jisu, who I don't think has been that well known, really kind of make a bit of more of a name for himself, playing some Assassins, playing some very aggressive style, having a lot of fun in the 1v1. It's good to see people who are willing to kind of break the meta a little bit and have confidence in their own picks, even if they are not popular elsewhere.
See, I quite like that, and I'm hoping one day we see that more frequently, because if players can make their comfort picks that are quote-unquote non-meta work, then all of a sudden you start seeing huge changes. But
Exactly.
you need to win with it first. So let's see whether or not Jisu can. Ezreal was banned away from Southeast Asia, and sound the horn. There goes On once again in the ban pool.
MF up, Xerath up. There are some options certainly there if they were looking for either of those picks. If they're worried about the Ryze, you could take that away. If you think that's going to be a powerful takeaway. It's actually a first pick, Jayce. This is pretty interesting. Traditionally is a top laner, but you can see it go mid. And unless they are showing their other solo lane here, that can, force some kind of change, or you can try to put it wherever it's going to be most advantageous based on the LMS draft, but you are leaving up a lot of the super powerful picks. I mean, you could go MF Xerath bot lane, which would be a nightmare to play into.
Oh, that would be... I actually really do not enjoy watching poke, because you poke someone, they run away, and then you chip the tower. You poke someone, they run away, chip... Like, that play cycle can get so frustrating, and even more frustrating to play against because you have to dodge so much. Anyways, it's not going to be the Xerath yet. Sejuani, Misfortune. Jisu has played Jayce once already. And, of course, Leona was banned last game.
Leona was banned, and Leona traditionally a very good answer to the MF. You're stuck in one place where you're ulting. Well, guess what? Leona's ultimate can answer that very well. But because you have this as either a support or AD carry, you can flex around a little bit if you do actually see the Leona locked in. It's not going to be that choice. It is going to be Levi back on the Nidalee, and we did get to see some Glacial Augment Nidalee. There are certainly a couple different options you can go for runes on this character, and it's yet another aggressive pick here for Levi.
Well, there's a line I didn't think we'd say. Aggressive pick? Levi? You don't say. But you did talk a lot about the Ryze and how, there was such a high priority for FoFo. It's stolen away this time around. We've already seen the Hobber of Azir. It's not banned. Well, at least one of the options that could be run into it. And first phase, you're starting to see a bit of a mixture here. You've got a little bit of frontline, some poke, some scaling on both sides, but quite a lot of long-range poke from GPL.
Yeah, it is a lot of poke, and it's already, for me, the GPL squad looking like someone who has to kind of split push, unless you're going to draft a really strong bot lane where you can then group and then poke. But even still, you don't have a tank in the top lane, you don't have a tank in the jungle. You're already looking like less of a team fighty squad in general. Whereas over on this side, you have long range damage coming out of the MF, coming out of the Azir. You have control with the Azir wall, and you have this beefy, strong frontliner in the Sejuani, who's such a powerful team fight jungler. So there is a lot of powerful team fight, and it feels like we're already kind of going down the same road that we were in game one, where SEA is going to be having to split the map. We'll see if anything changes from that, though, with the final picks.
Surprise, it's Jayce support at some point. No, that's not going to happen.
Only time we saw that was Mata, and I don't think you want to see that one again.
It did not end very well.
No, it didn't.
It did not end very well. The last few bans here, Azale. Varus, Tahm Kench, Janna, and Maokai.
Ooh.
The Leona is locked into complement his Misfortune, so going to give them again. I mean, LMS could kill all of GPL without ever physically landing a champion-based auto. Bullet time, Sand Soldiers, Solar Flare.
All right, you're kind of the Sand Soldier. It's not a champion auto.
It is not a champion.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Okay.
By technicality of word.
Technically correct is the best kind of correct, as Freak would always say. All right. Well, the Leona is a takeaway from Kra, and you're like, wait, is this a compliment? Is this an insult?
No.
I'm not sure. You're kind
actually,
of living in that danger
I have to
zone.
be honest. My brain went to time to insult Freak, and I was like, no, this is not appropriate.
Even here.
He's not here. He can't defend himself. So I stalled. I didn't have anything to say, Azale, because I had nothing nice to say.
You still obviously didn't have nothing to say because you're just kind of vamping
I'm
there.
vamping.
But we're going back into the picks and bans. We got a game going on here.
And
Quick shot.
Alistar. What do you think of this bottom lane? It's another Alistar for Kra.
It is another Alistar. They took away the Leona. I think it can work pretty well into the Leona specifically, and you also do have a bit of CC to actually answer and try to disrupt the MF ultimate. You have some dive to try to get back on this Azir and maybe put him in a position where you can take him down. The headbutt works pretty well into the Zenith Blade. If you actually buffer your headbutt, you can knock the Leona away as she's trying to go in, so there are some cool answers there. This is going to be a Sion as the lock-in, though, and Sion, you would think, well, you're probably going to get poked out. You're probably going to get bullied very hard by the Jayce, which can happen. But Sion with Comet actually can match up pretty well against some of these ranged champions. You can go for things like an earlier Glacial Shroud, like a Catalyst, getting a lot of mana, a lot of CDR, and you can go for an Emax. And if you consistently hit that, you can fight back quite well against the Jayce, even in the early stages.
And Jisu did play this. He went 1, 2, and 13 when he played that champion earlier. And we'll keep our eyes on him and whether or not he can get that poke. I like the GPL squad here. They don't want to swap, so everybody locked in their own respective champion. Yeah. Screw strategy and blind pick and baiting. Let's see how this comp works, because like you said, I think higher complexity maybe on the GPL side when you've already got communication challenges, and let's see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a very similar composition. I will say it's maybe not quite as risky because you have some more wave clear coming out of the Ryze. You still have wave clear in your AD carry. But that being said, you have a split pushy type top, you have an aggressive jungler, whereas LMS is drafting essentially 3 frontliners and 2 high DPS people. These are not complicated compositions to run. It is very simple, and honestly, for a tournament where you have just come together, where you don't have a lot of practice and complexity, it's probably an easier and smarter composition to run. But we'll have to see if SEA can spread the map. If you get ahead, you can certainly group, you can poke, you can siege that way with the Tristana, the Jayce, the Nidalee. But if they fall behind, again, could be pretty tough to deal with the triple frontline composition.
Well, just don't fall behind. That's simple. Come
Easy.
on. Come on, gents. I want to see a deciding game. I want a game 3. So I'm putting on my GPL hat this game. And let's see what Southeast Asia can do. LMS somewhat grouping towards the top here. At least SwordArt has made his way alongside Karsa and Ziv. But it looks more defensive than really any sort of invade. Obviously against a Nidalee who can get up to some shenanigans in the early game.
Yeah, definitely some interesting choices in the masteries again here as well. Comet Sion, something I had talked about. First time I saw that was Kespa Cup, but it is something that's relatively common now. We're also seeing press the attack on Jayce, which I think is pretty atypical. Most Jayce players I see are still running Airy, kind of more consistent poke, because generally speaking, it's hard to get those 3 hits off on the Jayce. You can use your W for the auto speed up, but then you're kind of committing to a pretty long trade. We'll see how effective Jisu is going to be able to be. I would say in the later stages of the game, especially if you're building for the 1v1, like Black Heaver, Bork, this sort of thing, it's going to be stronger against the Sion, and likewise, Dantiz going press the attack here too. He's not opting for something more defensive.
I suppose when you've got Sion, Sejuani, Leona, fairly tanky melee champions, Jisu maybe reckoning, you'll get that time, but we'll only be able to judge that as the game plays out, right? And see where we can get that effectiveness up and running. And Levi, once again, that glacial augments.
Exactly, and the slow is going to allow you to kind of have some additional, I won't say CC, but kind of control and chase to be able to kind of run people down. If you can get ahead, this can be extremely powerful. And he is also going for the magical boots, and that does give you 10 additional move speed. So that in combination with the glacial augment can be very powerful.
All right, take a look at the
already here.
Javelin toss already. Flash forward from Levi. Flash forward from Patrick for first blood. And Levi stamps down authority to start game 2.
Very nice. And it's first blood going over there to Patrick, which is really going to help him out get the early tier going. And that's the power sometimes of this Ryze in the early game. The gang assist can be so powerful.
And of course, flash and heal used there by FoFo. Already summon a spell blown. Jisu looks like he's been tagged most likely by a couple of spells. That Roar of the Slayer, maybe poking him down somewhat. But here's a replay of that point and click route from Patrick.
Here it is again. Patrick, as soon as he gets level 2, you rank up the stun, guarantees the spear to land, and once you're hit by that, it's basically all over. Really nicely done by Levi and Patrick to commit to that. They get both the summoners, but in the top lane, as you said, I mean, Jisu had been getting hit by a lot of comets, and if you're losing early on, if you fall behind a tank as a split pusher like Jayce, it becomes almost impossible to push him out, because if you get such effective itemization with Bramble Vest, with Cabbies, and a Levi trying to come in here and see what he can get done.
All right, Javelin Toss will tag Ziv. Soul Furnace Shield buys just a little bit of time for Ziv, but he holds on to the flash. No real follow-up there from Jisu, so it's just poking, buying some control here and some time for Jisu.
Exactly. He's trying to put on a little bit of pressure, come up top, threaten a little bit, try to even out that health a little bit. But Jisu is still behind, and Karsa is farming. They're going to try to knock SwordArt into the turret.
Oh, very nice. SwordArt with the Zenith Blade makes his way to safety. No follow-up from Dantiz and Kra. There's a big minion wave to fight into, and they don't get the kill.
Yeah, Karsa is down here. They could actually look for the dive, very likely going to go for it. Dantiz doesn't have his flash either, so that was blown by the bot lane.
Oh, very problematic here for GPL. Karsa
Don't
not
see
yet
Karsa.
spotted. Keep your eyes for any potential double up. And SwordArt is running Ignite. So if Kras sticks around, that could be tickets for him.
And this is a flash on Leona. There's no flash available on the Tristana. You hit a Comet with Bebe, you flash forward, you look for it.
While Kra might decide to go in, gets the headbutt, the pulverize knocks SwordArt under the tower. The explosive
Karsa.
dart comes up. Kra forced to flash for his life. Dantiz was ticking down from the Ignite. Southeast Asia, they survived. They live to fight another day. Battle's not yet over, and I think just enough mana for a double up. If Bebe can find the right angle, that could be not after that heal.
Yeah, and he does have mana flow ban, so he is going to be able to stick around. He'll get that mana back. He's trying to prep the back minions there. When you keep the range minions low, you always threaten the execute double up, which gets bonus damage if you kill the first target you're hitting. So you're kind of forcing your opponent's hand on where they can position. That's corralling them for the make it rain.
And here comes Levi, once again, really trying to show LMS who wears the pants and forces the flash from Ziv.
Yeah, but honestly, when Levi is giving so much attention up there, and your Jayce is basically even on farm against the tank, things are not boding well, and Patrick has no flash.
No, he doesn't. Gets a good rune down. The shield as well from those runes. Passive.
Oh, nice
Insta-cleanse! There was no lag there, and Patrick walks away.
Patrick with the Captain Jack cleanse. So nicely done to get out of there. That was actually beautiful. I thought he was dead to rights.
I was convinced he was. But like you said,
You just got to one-up me, don't you?
look at the moves. Look at the moves. Managed
play.
to make it work.
What was that?
Hey, look, Southeast Asia, they're opening up game too well. They got first blood. They fended off all of Karsa's pressure. The bottom lane survived. The mid lane survived.
Yeah.
Now, almost everybody is summoner spell list. There's one flash for Jisu. But if the next few minutes can slow down, they can, take this composition into a great position.
Certainly. I think at the same time, you're still facing a better team fighting team, and I'm always going to be concerned about a Jayce who's not smashing lane. If you're playing a Jayce into a tank, you need to be dominating lane. If you are not, you're just full stop, you're less worth anything. Like, you're just not going to contribute a lot to a team fight because it's so hard to really find the shock blast on these targets in the backline when there's 3 tanks in the front line. You don't really shred them down that easily either, so you have to win split push. If you can't do that, you can't really do much.
Still time for Southeast Asia. What do you make of Ziv's itemization here? He's got himself a little stopwatch. Let's see with that. He's going to be making his way sooner or later. Patrick gets knocked under the tower, takes 1 tower shot.
Done again.
Shield buys some time, and that Realm Warp keeps him alive. Continues to run away from those Sand Soldiers, but that was very well played with the ultimate and that rune shield that he was able to pick up.
Yeah, pretty cute. And he's going to be able to get out, pick up the fruit, and be pretty healthy here. But as far as the stopwatch does deny a lot of things like early dives. If you're getting poked out, if you are losing lane, that's a way that you can really fall behind if you get dove, and that does give you the additional playmaking. Oh my god, that damage. And you still can actually build it into some pretty useful items later in the game.
We'll keep an eye on when Ziv decides to use his one-time stopwatch. Stop things down. Patrick's going to run forward. FoFo, I think he was just able to buffer up that conquering sands and slides away to safety. As Patrick keeps him under pressure. 51 CS to 54. FoFo's doing relatively well in the farm game. Of course, both mid laners have been ganked by their opponent's jungler. And as it stands, LMS on an even keel. By this point in the previous game, it was already a 2,000 gold lead. So this is a significantly better start here for GPL and Southeast Asia.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. And I'm going to be interested to see if the stopwatch means at all that he's going towards a quicker stone plate. I mean, because it does reduce the cost of that also, and it does build into that item. It's something that a lot of people forget. It builds into GA stone plate as well as the Zonia.
Yep.
So
It just, would you expect that for itemization on Sion?
I think it's actually very good on Sion, just not super early, but
Okay.
I think as like a third item or something can be super effective. I think, especially with this Comet build, you want to build mana early on. With the second mana crystal there, on top of the Glacial Shroud, I am expecting Catalyst, and that's kind of the more typical build. You have a lot of CDR, you can build that into an Abyssal later on, you can build either an Iceborne or a Frozen Heart, and then you have tons of CDR, tons of mana, you can spam E and still kind of contribute that poke to the lane.
It's just really fun to see Sion in the top lane. Champion we haven't seen for quite a while. Actually, he was meta a long time ago. And now with some of the changes in the Runes Reforged, shining just a little bit more.
Yeah, and with a very creative setup, right? This is not a Q max Sion. You actually only put 1 point in your Q for that big slam. It's max your E for the poke, then you actually max your shield second to be able to be kind of more tanky and sitting around there. So it's definitely a very smart setup, and it's always cool to see players, you know, finding ways to make a champion viable in a new way.
All right, let's see what Levi can do. Manages to find a tag with that javelin toss.
He wants to go in.
Gonna follow the realm warp. Now he's in trouble.
Has ultimate
Straight
available.
into LMS. There's a bullet time available for Bebe. He's trying to line it up. Gets one. Karsa's already on the board. Jisu finished off the teleport. Now he's looking to press the attack. Solar Flare comes down and GPL are running for their lives. Ziv joins the board and with a decimating smash, knocks up the GPL. Kra and Dantiz escape for now. They get one on the way out. It's Bebe that loses his life. Dantiz gets tagged with the slow. The Comet follows thereafter, and LMS, they come away 3 for 1.
Yeah, it feels like GPL felt like they needed to get ahead there. They needed a big win, and they're not able to find it. They forced the fight, but the bot lane from the LMS is able to respond so quickly. Bebe has his ultimate available, and they navigate that fight very, very well. A lot of credit to FoFo for kiting back, for not actually going down. It's a couple kills going their way, and this starts with an SEA engage. They feel like they found SwordArt out, but he's able to flash back. He's a relatively tanky member, and honestly, the collapse is just going to come in faster from the LMS. Bebe is already here. Dantiz is still quite far away if you're actually tracking him in the bot lane. He's just now getting up to where he can enter the fight, and Bebe has already taken someone down, so despite the fact that he does get caught, he does get burst down later on, the fight is already over. The fight is in full retreat.
It just felt like both teams were ready for the engage, and LMS had tighter net. Their team fight was significantly better. They just managed to make that work. Really well played LMS. They take a 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it's just not really a chase you could afford to make when the proximity of the bot lane is so much closer for Bebe and SwordArt. You're going to have Bebe getting up there. It's not like they found the AD carry. They found a Leona, who's a very tanky member. Again, Patrick may be getting caught here.
Has indeed. That's a good interrupt from Kra, buying some time. Levi doesn't really want to be in the thick of things. He's starting to back away. Kra now needs to run for his life. The javelin toss runs a little bit low. This explosive charge not going to be enough. It is enough. I did not see that coming. Now Dantiz forced a rocket jump over the wall. SwordArt can't follow with the Zenith blade. Kra gets shut down inside the jungle. And again, a sloppy exchange. It's a 1 for 2. SwordArt, he fancies his chances. Yeah, he's going to look for the Zenith blade, but the recall will complete. And SwordArt unable to find his man.
Yep, he's going to be able to get out of there. So does survive, and thankfully it's a kill going over to Dantiz, which is definitely an important member. You can see Jisu is building purely for that 1v1. He's actually rushing a Blade of the Rune King. Going to give you some attack speed for some pressy attack, and the percentage HP damage can be pretty effective against tanks, but really it's not a lot of HP being stacked just yet because Ziv is going for the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is going to be pretty powerful in that 1v1, but if he gets too far up, this means you're relatively vulnerable to Levi, who is magic damage, and you don't have HP.
Well, even with the 1v1 build, Jisu's bringing in support. Levi gets a tag, and Ziv is just going to curve around the corner with that unstoppable onslaught retreat. We saw that happen quite a few times, actually, when we saw him play last time.
Certainly did. The dragon that's on the map right now with the Infernal up would actually be so nice for the GPL because you have such a damage-heavy squad. Basically everyone on this team except Alistar is going to get a lot out of it. It's obviously still good for the LMS, but with 3 tanks, they're not building a lot of AP or AD, and it's not going to be as big of a deal for them.
If we look at the minimap, Azale, because of the dragon, we've seen a lot of priority around it. Time and time again, these teams are moving, and that's why now Patrick is coming to help out Ziv and Karsa. The Realm Warp delivers Patrick into the bottom lane. He's going to get tagged by that bowler of Karsa, and nothing further follows up. So GPL, they're trying to make a play happen. Yeah, they jumped on SwordArt. They've now tried to 3-man gank. They tried a 2-on-1. But the last few minutes, the last few plays, they fizzled.
And the fact of the matter is, the only people they're actually jumping on and catching are the really big tanks, right? It's Leona. They caught out in the bot lane, kind of. That went wrong. I mean, this is Sejuani. There's a Sion they're trying to gank a number of times, but they're very hard to kill champions. They're very, very tanky. They're very, very durable. If you catch the MF or the Azir, it's much more likely to work, but you know, a Nidalee with a Frostfang and no completed jungle item is not going to be one-shotting a Sion or a Sejuani or someone like that.
Levi's going to get jumped on here by Karsa. It's a fight, so his life.
Oh, it was close.
Very good blast cone. While that's going on, Kra and Dantiz have caught Bebe all the other way around as it bullet time comes down. Kra gets taken out. Oh man, SwordArt shuts down Dantiz. Didn't see the setup for that one, but it's LMS that win.
Yeah, the lethality MF this early on, Ghostblade and another serrated Dirk completed means you are going to get shredded as Dantiz. This Tristana needs so much more time to scale. You need 2-3 items, whereas MF, you're pretty much ready from the board go.
Yeah, definitely the case. Especially when the enemy's running away.
Yeah.
That makes bullet time significantly easier. Tower first blood secured, thanks to that 2 for 0. And we can only assume that GPL started the fight, but it was LMS that ended it. It was definitely a knockout punch. And hopefully, there we go, there's a replay of how this started out as well.
Yeah, and it looked like the LMS did start it out onto Kra, but they felt like they could turn it around. But this is actually just really good zoning from Bebe and SwordArt. They kite back, they drop the Make It Rain, and drop that E in between Dantiz and the rest, and Dantiz doesn't really feel like he had a good way to get back to that MF to follow up on the fight. And with that jump used, the ultimate expires for Kra, he gets burst down, and Dantiz just doesn't have too much to contribute at this point.
Nah, not too much, nor does the rest of the team. I mean, it's minus 4,000 gold. You've got a Jayce into Sion that's down 20 CS. You've got Dantiz and Kra who are in so much trouble. The Pulverize is not going to find a target. Headbutt is available. That will buy some time for FoFo. And he can so easily slide across the wall. It's actually one of the few targets he probably didn't want to hit over that way. And as it stands, Dantiz gives up his life and Kra's able to walk away.
Yeah, it's just really rough. I mean, the Tristana is more of a late game champion. You're 1,500 gold behind a stronger earlier champion already. I mean, with Ghostblade, Dustblade completed, what you is essentially going to mean death for Dantiz.
Patrick gets interrupted by the Shield of Daybreak. His Realm Warp is interrupted. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because there was no follow-up damage. But SwordArt is just having a fantastic game. It's not the Blitzcrank that we were hoping to see Azale, but the Leona's just as good when it's been played this beautifully. Tower dive was on the cards.
Yeah,
and SwordArt backs away.
Alternatively, GPL is trying to set up some turret pressure here on the bot side. There is a Blade of the Rune King finally completed for Jisu. It felt like that was about the first trade he had won all game. Does have some good power now in his kit with that Blade of the Rune King. We'll see if he's going to go into a Black Cleaver or straight maybe for a Lazarus or some Armor Pen for this 1v1. But Ziv deserves a lot of credit because honestly, him holding up in the 1v1, him winning as a tank into this Jayce means that there's just so much stability. Like that was supposed to be the pressure valve for the SEA. Levi constantly went up there. You're supposed to be snowballing that lane. Multiple people are supposed to have to go to stop Jisu, and it's just not happening. So the rest of the map is collapsing.
And especially after Ziv was under pressure in the previous game, he played the Gnar into the Akali.
Yeah.
You know, struggled a little bit in lane, bounced back, pulled out a pick that's not necessarily standard right now. Not that there really isn't any standard. It's off-season anyway. But regardless of that fact, LMS, you know, they showed up. They've had a great day. 2 very convincing games already, and now they've just got to use this lead. Press down the Baron or the turrets as this last outer is now under siege. In Southeast Asia, the roller coaster may be coming to an end.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way. I mean, LMS showed in game 1 they know exactly how to close out games quickly and effectively. They covered around the Baron vision. For now, though, they're just setting up these picks on the side, and Ziv actually looking for Dantiz. We'll see if he gets caught.
Decimating Smash will slow down Dantiz. He used the Buster Shot to buy some time. Roar of the Slayer will slow down Dantiz as we go down in the bottom. Emperor's Divide splits up Kra as well as Jisu, and the bullet time brings it home. LMS get their 10th kill of the game. Shelly is summoned to help knock down the inner turret in the bottom lane, and that will be the 4th that they're looking to see.
Yeah, they're moving so well around the map, utilizing the MF as well as all the CC from these other guys there. You have the Karsa's ultimate, you have SwordArt's ultimate, locking them down, even FoFo shuffling them into that MF ult and just getting destroyed. They can actually just take the inhibitor turret straight up. I don't think there's anything to worry about. If SEA wants to take a pick, they're going to lose.
Yeah, they're going to. Patrick gets caught by the Zenith Blade and he's dove, but the damage is interrupted. Kra doing some work on the back end, but it's a 7,000 gold deficit that GPL have to fight.
Oh, Ziv
is on the inhibitor. Well, Patrick is still running for his life. He shuts down Ziv. Zombie Ziv gets one back. Jisu's taken down from beyond the grave. And that's where you use the stopwatch on the steps of the fountain. It opens up the base. Shelly takes down the inhibitor, and LMS make it out. It's not done yet, though, as FoFo sends a Sand Soldier into Danti's face, and those javelins are flying wide. Levi cannot find his targets, and the LMS are looking to escape.
Ziv popping the style
That's
watch.
so
in the fountain.
good.
That was fantastic. You gotta love it. They are in full control of the game, looking so dominant. Inhibitor already down, pre 20 minutes, but here's the dime again. The GPL trying to hold on. It was a really nice combo in the backline with Kra and Levi, but then it all starts to fall apart. Not enough damage. Ziv comes in. Watch this ultimate from Ziv. Flashes in the middle. Three-man knockup with his ultimate there into the devastating smash, and does go down, but putting out so much damage from the Ghost Form, gets a kill, sets up his team to guarantee the inhibitor, and style and substance, Ziv has it all.
From beyond the grave. Like, activatable item in Sion passive.
Yeah.
Why not?
Love it.
Man, okay, 7k gold. 20 minutes has just popped, and there's already super minions to deal with in the bottom lane. And we started the day, Azale, talking about like big brother versus little brother. This feels pretty much how, like, you know, my big brother, little brother fights go. As Patrick is caught out, takes a couple of ultimates to the face, and despite surviving a few seconds longer, 3-on-1, he just gets shut down.
Yeah, every time I look over at Bebe, his items are just getting scarier and scarier. This feels looking like it could go Levi's way, but Ziv can just retreat, and they can be pressuring this Baron. I mean, they see Jisu on the bottom side of the map. Yes, he has TP, but even if you TP in, how do you actually take the fight? The Baron looking like it's going to be gone before they even have a chance.
All right, Jisu's going to teleport in, and here comes Kra. Decides not to engage, in fact. Ziv gets tagged by yet another Javelin Sauce. Kra is locked out. The wall is closed. You can't get past those soldiers, and that's the 14th kill, plus Baron now. And Ziv, is he going to try chase Dantiz? Nope, just push the wave and set up for another siege. Starting.
This isn't looking like all she wrote. I mean, this is the death push right here. If Bebe gets a decent ultimate with triple lethality essentially on his character, Dantiz and Patrick are going to instantly die. So will Levi. There's almost nothing they can do, and they're looking to shut out what is such a dominant series from the LMS.
Yeah, 5-0. LMS have yet to drop a game if they close this out. They will be advancing to the All-Star Finals. And they've looked fantastic so far. The inhibitor survived a couple seconds longer. In fact, still alive.
Oh my god, that ultimate!
The bullet time destroys the GPL. Jisu's running for his life and will get shut down. GPL are aced, LMS are untouched, and before Baron can even time out, they're sieging the Nexus. Gigantic smiles on the side of the LMS squad as they decimate, destroy, and deconstruct the GPL. Welcome to the finals, LMS.
22-minute win, 2-0 for the LMS, 5-0 in the All-Stars tournament so far. They weren't even supposed to make it out of the groups. Here they are in the finals looking dominant. They knocked down Korea in the group stage. They just decimated the GPL, and they are looking really, really good.
I've casted games that have lasted longer than this series.
I have probably casted those games with you.
Exactly. What a dominant performance. I mean, it just felt like LMS were a level above the GPL today.
Yeah, I mean, they had the answers, right? Every time it felt like they knew exactly how to respond to the curveballs that were throwing at them. They have the Nidalee pick, they have the Jayce, they're trying to get the split push going. Ziv too solid in game 2.
Yeah.
In game 1, the bot lane, so standout for the LMS, able to rotate around the map, make these assassins be pretty ineffective. And they just had all the right answers, all the right moves, and really solid series.
At all stages, the pick and ban felt better, felt the drafts were easier to play. Something we talked about a lot, especially at the beginning of this game. The Sion was at a last pick as well. Yes, it was for Ziv into the GPL squad. So congratulations, LMS. They remain undefeated. They will be playing tomorrow in the finals against either the LCK or the LPL. And LMS have already beaten Korea. They took them down fairly handily as well.
They did, and it is going to be a best of 5, mind you, though. And beating the LCK in a best of 5 is always a big challenge, but it could be the LPL also. And those are the 2 power regions in League of Legends right now, as proven at Worlds. China and Korea have been dominating. And whoever you get in the finals is going to be a tough challenge. But
It will be.
I also want to take a moment to give some credit to the GPL. I mean, this is 4 of the 5 guys were not even supposed to be here, but visa problems came through. They made the trip. They put on a hell of a show, really showing up in the group stage, making it to the semifinals where really no one gave them a chance even in the group stage.
What was amazing is that every single member of the GPL squad has had moments where they've looked great throughout the course of the tournament. The Leona play from Kra during the group stages. Jisu continues to play. He's in the semifinals of the 1v1 as well. I mean, Sleeper, a little bit of a dark horse there in that 1v1 tournament. It's not only the Levi show. Even though, yes, he was integral for helping them get out of groups, you need somebody else backing up Levi to knock over those nexuses, and that's what they did.
Definitely. I think all of them really had some good moments. Kra and Dantiz really did shine in some of those games from the bot lane. Patrick had some standout moments of his own, going up against some of the very best mid laners all around the world and besting them at times. And it really has been fun to watch Jisu as well, both in the 1v1 and bringing out some pretty unique picks in the 5v5.
Yes, I mean, definitely has grown a lot since the days of Mysterious Monkeys, where he played for 2 weeks in the EULCS and, moves over
He's
to...
becoming less mysterious.
He's less mysterious and playing significantly better as well. Anyways, to hear more from how the All-Star, one of the All-Star finalists, let's send it over to Shox, who's on stage with the victorious mid laner.
Well, thank you very much. I'm here with FoFo, who's been crushing it, and the entire LMS squad. So the first thing I want to ask you is why do you think these players, this LMS All-Star squad, has played so well? Why are you guys playing so well together?
今天你们表现一直基本上从昨天以来，你们的表现都非常的优异。那是什么原因让你们觉得这个队伍表现得如此的出色呢？
因为其实我们5个人都有一点缺点吧，但是就是互相 cover， 就是我们彼此都是尽力去配合，然后默契也都不错，这样。
There are a couple of flaws within the team, but we actually complement with each other, so there are great synergy with each other. That's why we perform so well.
Well, it looks like the synergy is on point. You guys are undefeated so far, and I just want to put the spotlight on your performance, FoFo. You've been absolutely crushing it. What has the experience been like for you playing here at All-Star and playing so well?
基本上你们现在是以50的姿态、全胜姿态出现。那你目前的表现也是非常的优异。那你现在的感想是什么？
就是跟着这4个队友还有对手都学到了很多东西，就是非常开心这样能来到这边。
I've learned a lot from not just my teammate, but also the opponent. So I'm very happy and very glad to be here.
And you might also meet a formidable opponent rather tomorrow. You guys are playing the 5v5 finals versus or LPL or LCK. Do you have a preference, and how do you think the final is going to go?
你们明天有机会会对上LPL 或者 LCK， 那请问你比较想跟哪个队伍比赛？然后为什么？
应该会比较想跟 LCK 吧，因为主要是 LPL 的风格我们没有太熟悉，而且他们很侵略，就是要更小心一点，还是比较想要打 LCK 这样。
So mainly is I want to fight LCK because LPL we're not too familiar with it, and especially they are very aggressive on the early game. So it's gonna be preferred to be LCKs.
All right, and then we would see FoFo versus Faker. That would be great as well. Well, congratulations so far, and good luck tomorrow. FoFo crushing it so far. Here, back over to you guys at the desk.
Because he wants to win.
Thank you very much, Shox. The LMS undefeated as a squad so far here at All Stars and looking, at a very tough finals, either against Korea or China to come soon. But the undefeated squad dominating Southeast Asia here in the knockout stage.
I'd like to change my prediction. 2-0 LMS.
Come on over this side.
I think
do we have graphical support for that?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a good performance. They actually just kind of ran over the GPL team.
Who could have predicted that?
I don't think anyone could really have predicted this kind of performance.
Only an analytical genius would have predicted that one. Kobe, what are your thoughts on this matchup, the way that it's performed?
Honestly, I was looking at the bottom lane again initially in Champ Select. I was like, oh my God, they have MF Leona. After what they did last game, this is going to be a bloodbath. But it was actually, Ziv on the Sion on top side. We would see trades where Jayce procs, 3 hits and is able to get press the attack and hits the Q. And then Sion just turns around and shout and the comment hits and it's more damage in the trade. So Ziv on the tank from the top side was just really oppressive. And again, the team play from the LMS is something that they've showcased this entire tournament and once again holds it together.
Yeah, super team. I want to look across on the other side, though, and do give some credit to the GPL. I mean, everyone's really excited to see Levi. We got to see his Nidalee twice now in this tournament. He does something pretty interesting with it in terms of the runes. He goes Sorcery and takes the Glacial Storm, so obviously you have the soft CC there with the auto attacks by getting the slow, but then he also then goes into the Inspiration tree as his second tree, so I don't see a lot of Nidalees do that. I don't know where really sit on it, but it is interesting because he keeps putting up these strong performances.
I'm a little bit sad he's not going for more damage, though. I don't think he needs to go for a slow right there. I actually think just go Electrocute, have as much burst as possible, especially because you need to carry, which is the biggest thing for Levi.
But what about the mind games? He's got the project skin, so it looks like when he marks
that
someone,
was actually pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But
he's got the deception going for him.
Deal damage.
I was
deal
deceiving
damage.
even you guys back here behind stage. But they'll go ahead and move on. I mean, it was pointed out there in the interview, looking, to play against Korea, perhaps so more than the Chinese team because of the familiarity between those two regions. Want a little bit of a challenge here up against the Koreans.
No, it's because they want to win. They know if they face the LPL, they'll lose.
You think, is that the case?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah,
They did already beat
they
the
always
Koreans,
beat
right?
Korea,
So, yeah.
and as you also highlighted, the Korean team does play a little bit slower, so you don't get punished as hard in the early game, which
Right.
is something we often see from teams with Sion that can dominate the bot lane. Bebe will not get the same advantage he got in this one.
Without a doubt. BB got a huge advantage, actually. The
Both
one replay
games.
we have, 9:30 into the game, the LMS 3 for 1 near the Drake.
Yeah, and this time around, it wasn't BB on his signature Ezreal TPA skin, but it's BB nonetheless. And yes, this is his last hurrah, his last big tournament before he's going to retire, and he is going out with a bang.
But what is this kind of engaged? I didn't understand at all what they were trying to do here. Just kind of walk in one by one. They even used the Ryze ulti into the middle of it, and Jisu joins in a little bit later, but at this point they can't really do anything to win the fight, and obviously full HP Sion even shows up, and these kind of fights happen both in game 1 and game 2, which obviously cost the GPL team quite a lot, because you can't just run headfirst into the enemy team and expect to win. You will most of the time lose. Correct, Kobe? You're an enemy.
Unless you're Sion. Sion always runs head
That's
first
exactly
in.
how Sion wants to
That's
play.
the play style,
Exactly.
But
you're
they
right.
didn't have Sion.
The Ryze ultimate there, it didn't look like they were actually all on board. And that's something that people have brought up before. Communication with this squad, they were all thrown together. So you can't really harp on it too much for these guys. They have done a lot with the little time that they were given.
There you have it. Let's refocus now on the next series at hand, right? We got to determine who's going to be facing the LMS in the finals. You have Korea versus China. This is what a lot of people predicted would be the finals. It is not the case. What are our thoughts on this match? I already know where Frost is going with this, but let's hear it anyway.
Okay, here's the thing. We were talking about, best players of the tournament before. We were having
Yes.
this conversation. It was like Karsa, 957, Levi, FoFo. You know whose names aren't there with the super team? None of the Koreans are making my top players. I think they've just been okay. Like Juve, some hot, some cold. So I think that this is LPL. That this is going to be sending Korea. They're going to have to swim home. They're not going to get to take their airplane because it's going to be that big of an embarrassment. They've been boot camping and they're ready.
Very aggressive here.
Yes.
Surprise!
Yeah,
She's looking
surprise.
China.
Deficio?
I mean, I agree with the China part. I'm not as aggressive regarding, how much they're going to destroy Korea.
Right.
What about the swimming part?
No, not really either. I think there will be tickets for them to fly home as well. But I'll say 2-1 China. I think they just have a little bit better synergy with this lineup because they actually practiced for 2 weeks before the tournament. And they understand also the meta really well. And I think they're going to win.
I honestly think Faker wants, another shot at the LMS. He was not happy with what Karsa did to him the first time around, and I think that the LCK are going to do a lot to get Faker that rematch. So I think that they are going to come through and they will get the victory.
I mean, as always, we talk about the best of series, right, for Korean teams, but this again is a Korean team that has not boot camped, has not practiced. So it isn't like we're staring across the rift at SKT, with Coma leading the charge in Champions Select. There is definitely probably more holes to be found for the Korean squad by the Chinese squad.
But there were a lot of conversations about when you assembled this team. Yes, it's not the best players in every position across every role. I mean, you look at Ambition, but theoretically, you can see how it would synergize and work together. You have a jungler who's kind of similar to the style that SKT like to format in Blank, in Bengi, in Peanut, in type of Ambition, so that should synergize well with Faker. We saw a couple of quick hits there before kind of things fell apart, but it hasn't been that same, golden formula that a lot of analysts were predicting looking at this super squad.
To be fair, they only played 3 games, so we haven't like seen that many
It's
games.
a
from
very
them just yet.
serious tournament,
it is a
Patricio.
quick
They
tournament.
lost the game.
It is a very,
terrible.
very quick tournament.
It
and
is,
therefore,
it is.
therefore, there's so little evidence for these teams to make.
Let me remind you,
They're
who's on
gonna
this
be
team.
fine.
This is Prey and Gorilla and Faker. Like,
Don't convince me.
this is ambition. He just won the world championship.
I know they're gonna be fine. This is gonna be a close series.
It will be a close series.
Yeah, of course.
2-1. We're
I
gonna
had
get the
2-1.
2-1, just
I
like
had
we got the
2-1.
2-1 you predicted in the last
I
series.
said 2-0 LMS. You just didn't hear me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must have
Step up
missed
your
that
game.
one. We're
You're
going to
getting
step
old.
away for a quick break. When we return, we have that series between China and Korea. Don't go anywhere. You guys are obnoxious.
Already here.
Javelin toss already. Flash forward from
Grotto.
Levi. Flash forward from Patrick. Solar Flare comes down and GPL are running for their lives. Ziv joins the board. Shuts down Ziv. Zombie Ziv gets one back. Jisu's taken down from beyond the grave. And that's where you use the stopwatch. In fact, still alive.
Oh my
Dantiz gets
God,
shut down.
that ultimate.
Bullet time destroys the GPL. Welcome to the finals, LMS.